You know, there's something about home invasion movies that just get under your skin. When you think about your home, it's the safest place that you can be, right? It's the one place where we can kick back, relax, and just feel totally secure. But when a movie flips that idea on its head and turns your home into a place of fear and danger, it just hits differently. So today I want to share with you my top 5 favorite home invasion movies. Now I promise you that after watching these 5 films, you'll be double checking your locks every single night before bed. Guaranteed. Let's get into it. Inside is one of those movies that's not for the faint of heart. It's set on Christmas Eve and it follows Sarah, a pregnant woman who's home alone, still grieving the loss of her husband. Things take a dark turn when a mysterious woman shows up and tries to force her way into the house with malicious intent. The movie is brutal and intense, which is exactly what fans of French horror cinema love about it. It's part of the new French extremity movement, so expect some pretty graphic scenes, but if you're into hardcore horror, this is a must-watch. Now I have to say that the violence in this film is pretty intense, but it does not rely on the violence to make it a good movie. Characters, the setting, the suspense, the atmosphere of this film alone are worth the watch. The gore just happens to be the icing on the cake. Kidnapped is a Spanish thriller that really pulls you in. It's about a family who just moved into their new home, and before they can even settle in, a group of masked criminals breaks in and takes them hostage. The way the movie is shot with these long takes and the super realistic violence just makes the whole thing feel way too real. Critics loved how intense and raw it is, and while it didn't get a ton of attention outside of Spain, it's a hidden gem for horror lovers who are looking for something that feels authentic and terrifying. Now, Hush is a brilliant example of how to do more with less. The story centers on Maddie, a deaf-mute writer who lives alone in a secluded house in the woods. One night, a masked intruder shows up, and what makes this one so interesting is how Maddie has to rely on her other senses to survive. The film plays with sound, or the absence of it, in really creative ways, which keeps you on the edge of your seat the entire time. It wasn't a huge blockbuster, but it gained a lot of fans through streaming platforms and is now considered a modern horror classic. Plus, Mike Flanagan can do no wrong in my eyes, let's be real. Don't Breathe flips the script on the typical home invasion plot. We have a group of friends who decide to rob a blind man's house, thinking it's going to be an easy score, but they quickly realize that this guy is way more dangerous than they ever imagined. What follows is an intense game of cat and mouse where the tables are constantly turning. The tension in this movie is so good. Fede Alvarez just has a great way of capturing suspense, tension, and just flat out horror. If you haven't seen this one, it is definitely worth the watch. And finally, at number 1, a film that has been very divisive for so many years. As a matter of fact, the first time I saw the film, I did not like it. It took me a rewatch about 5 years later for me to actually love this movie, and I'm glad that I gave it a chance again. That film is 2008's The Strangers. So The Strangers is all about this couple, Kristen and James, who head out to a remote vacation home after a wedding. What starts as a quiet night quickly turns into a nightmare when 3 masked strangers show up out of nowhere and start terrorizing them. The randomness of the attack and the way it plays with your nerves is just unsettling. Now, critics and fans both have had very mixed feelings about this movie, but over the years it has become somewhat of a cult favorite for horror fans. So there you have it, guys, my top 5 favorite home invasion movies. These films really get under your skin, and they are guaranteed to make you rethink just how safe you are at home. So which one of these films had you sleeping with the lights on? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you like this video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys on the next one. And before we go, don't forget to check your locks.